Hey guys, Dylan Sider with Carpentry, and today we're going to talk about how I got started as a carpenter many years ago, and maybe some tips and tricks on getting started in 2024. Alright, today I'm on a job where I'm installing some storm doors for a client, so I'm getting set up. Just got to remove an old one and put one where there never was one. So that's what I'm up to today. I got started in carpentry in 2008. My family has a business called Sider Brother Builders that my grandfather started. And out of high school, I just kind of got forced to work for my dad.
Get to work, son.
I don't feel like I was a very ambitious kid, and he saw that and was just like, "You're coming to work for me." So in 2008, that's how I kind of got my start. Started working for my dad and my uncle, building custom homes in Fort Erie, Ontario. And yeah, I worked for them for like 7 years, or actually more like 9 years. So I started working for my dad in 2008. And then when I met my wife, we ended up getting married, and I moved to the US in 2017. Here's my first tip, is finding a job as a carpenter. I think I did it the right way when I came to the US. I basically looked and found the very best home builder in the area I was moving to. Whoops. If they're building really cool stuff in these huge houses and amazing things, they probably have a long wait list, so they have lots of work. And I guaranteed in today's day and age, they have a hard time finding young guys that are willing to put in the work to become a carpenter. So they didn't have anywhere saying that they were hiring. So I just applied, and I did get an interview. And in my interview, all I said was, I want to work for the best and learn from the best. I think that's a good tip. Just say, hey, I want to be a carpenter. I want to build the best stuff I can. And you guys, on a Google search, came up as the best home builder. And you're building really cool things, and I want to learn from you guys. That got me a job. From there, 2017, I started working for this custom home builder. And we built really cool stuff. I learned a ton. But in that time, I kind of felt like I'd like to kind of run my own company at some point here in the States. So at about the 2-year mark of working for them, I worked for them for 4 years. At about the 2-year mark, I started doing like side work, real small stuff like built-ins, and this was before I had kids, so I had time on my hands to do that, like nights and weekends. We decided to move again, like 45 minutes away, closer to my wife's family, and decided to go out on my own.
Start my own thing.
Which was about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, something like that. So, and actually how I got my start on my own is through the power of social media. I met a bunch of guys that were following my side work. I had Kinfolk as my business name at that point when I was doing side work. And I met a bunch of people on Instagram that were close, and I just asked one out for a coffee and said, hey, how do you charge what you charge, and how do you run your own business, and got some advice. My dad is a large company, like they have about 20 employees. So, and he never really started, he took it over from my grandpa. So it was hard for me to get advice from him because it's such a different market, different way of doing things. So I just was like, hey man, can I buy you a beer, to one of these guys on Instagram? And we started chatting about how to run your own business. So then from that meeting, I kind of developed some relationships with some guys on Instagram, And eventually they kind of said, hey, we've got a lot of work we need help with between all four of us, that we could probably keep you busy for a few months just jumping between all of our jobs. I got a kitchen remodel here you can help me with, and we'll just pay you by the hour to kind of get you off your feet. So that's kind of how I started my own business. I was a subcontractor for 4 other guys, and I just jumped around, and that's kind of how I transitioned from working for a custom home builder to working for myself, but for other contractors. So they knew from my work online, from my side work, that, you know, I was competent enough to be left to do my own thing, and they could, you know, trust me to do quality work.
Very nice.
So then I guess my second tip would be to find someone who's doing what you want to be doing on social media or wherever, and ask if you could take them out to lunch or buy them a coffee or a beer or whatever, and build a relationship, and potentially come up with some good ideas of how you're going to do it yourself, learn their story, how they went on their own, and yeah, use that. To this day, like, half of my work is still subcontractor work, and so I think it would be helpful to share a few tricks as a subcontractor that I've learned. One is show up when you say you're going to show up. I feel like there's lots of subs that say like, oh yeah, I'll be there first thing, 8 o'clock. And then they show up at like 8:45. Oh, you know, sorry, I had to run and get something. Or, you know, just because you're a business owner at that point doesn't mean that you can just set your own hours, worked within the parameters of the people you're working for. I would say second tip is, I know this is kind of weird, but don't use foul language.
Fart smeller!
I feel like you never know the clientele you're going to be working for, and no matter, even if, you know, the guys you're working for swear, I think like I think you'd always rather be seen as like a prude than someone who can't keep their mouth shut or says something stupid at the wrong time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Final tip: admit when you don't know what you're doing, or just say to somebody, hey, I don't think I'm worth my hourly rate if you have me, you know, pouring concrete. You know, I can pour concrete, but I think I'm going to be pretty slow at it compared to someone who does it for a living. Those are my tips for subcontracting. All right, one door installed, looking real nice. Just got to do one more. All right, so I'm packing up for today.
Roger, let's pack it up. Over.
I got both of those patio doors done. Those storm doors. I got here at 10:30 and it's about 3 o'clock now. So nice short day. One of the downsides to having a cap on a truck is it's kind of a pain to get all the trash in. I think to sum it all up, I'm very thankful I grew up in a trades family, and I had a dad who kind of pushed me to, you know, after high school to just go work. I probably wouldn't have made it unless my family owned a family business that did it. I probably would have got fired by another contractor. Honestly, my attitude changed a lot once I got married and thought differently about life. But I hope that some of my tips helped someone who's starting out, and maybe someone who's looking to get into business or do some subcontracting. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you on the next video.